The reason that I think I'm interested in helping people, when I was a child, my mother and father took in families regularly. I mean, we had somebody working all the time. You know, my dad would get the man a job, and my mother would get clothes for the woman and the children and all, and this was a way of life. I grew up with that.
I think he probably, growing up, that was instilled into him, and there were people that helped him, and he's kind of given back to a community and has always been involved in that type aspect of helping, wanting to make somebody else better.
Anybody that needs him, well, he'll be right there, whether it's giving him money or his labor. I know he helped this other friend that was building his house. He worked over there every Saturday for 2 years, a little over 2 years, helping, just because that's what he loved to do.
I just know he has a very big heart, and I wish my heart was the size of his. If I had his heart and his passion, God, I could do a lot of things. I have some big shoes to fill to get a heart as big as he has.
I played football, and I was fortunate enough to make All-State in Arkansas my senior year, and I got a scholarship to the University of Oklahoma. I took ROTC in college up at the University of Oklahoma, and I was commissioned as a second lieutenant. I came back to Shreveport and went to work for the Caddo Parish Juvenile Court. And then I worked there a year, and an opening occurred in the federal probation and parole office. And I applied for that, and I was hired. And later I was able to certify to be a licensed professional counselor.
He defied the stereotype of a counselor. He was nothing soft, at least on the outside of Milton Simmons. He could just lean towards you, that intense way he had, and you knew you had his 100% focus, but at the same time, it almost makes you a little uncomfortable, because he's going to expect the truth and the whole story out of you.
He saw the need for the needy in Northwest Louisiana, not just Caddo Parish, and decided to, he wanted to do something and was able to form this food bank.
Actually, I first heard about the need for food bank in 1995. I contacted a man by the name of Alvin Oney, who's a minister, and he was trying to put together a steering committee, to work on developing, a food bank. And we looked at a building down on the Greenwood Road, Texas Street, whatever you want to call it, that had been LCR Plumbing Supply. And it turned out that it was owned by Dr. Charles T. Beard and his wife, Carolyn Beard. Well, Carolyn and I were elders together at First Presbyterian Church. So I contacted her, and I said, Carolyn, we don't have any money, but we would like to buy that building. So about 3 days later, she called me back, and she said that Dr. Beard and I have decided that we're going to donate this building.
I can't imagine taking that on. I can't imagine. I mean, I look at it and it's like, are you crazy?
He used to work at it, day and night, and if it didn't go right, he would be upset and couldn't sleep all night. And I'd say, well, Milton, why don't you just retire from it? And he wouldn't do it. He just kept going.
Mr. Simmons got our first 2 vehicles donated here. They were 2 vans. He got a local church to donate them to us. So those were our first vehicles the food bank had that were used to pick up food in, were just some regular passenger vans. Sure, he'd be pleased to see that we now have 3 huge vehicles that are refrigerated, have lift gates on them. They're no longer just the regular passenger vans that we first started with. We might not see him here at the food bank, but he's out there fighting for us, helping us get donations, funds, food, and anything he can do to help.
He goes to the YMCA Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. And he has a group that he started so that the older generation continues to exercise. So he calls it the Gray Panthers. And they've got t-shirts and everything.
And there's been times when guys maybe couldn't drive for whatever reason, maybe bad weather or some type of ailment. He would go pick them up and make sure they got here, you know, and even helping. And now he helps to lead that group in exercise and keeping them fit. You know, he's a great friend to the organizations that he's involved with and a great friend to the people within those organizations. The guys that, like I said, with the Gray Panthers is where I see him most in involvement here. He's a great friend to every one of them, you know, and they depend on him and they support each other. And I think a lot of that comes from Milton.
He's not one of the type of people that wants to be recognized. He's kind of like, you know, just does it because he wants to do it. You know, he doesn't do it for publicity or, you know, things of that nature. He just likes to help people.
I'll say this, that he's a strong man and an uncomplaining man and a sympathetic, empathetic human being. He's kind of a conscience for us, and we love him and appreciate him around here.
As long as he is able, my father will always do everything he can to make sure everybody has their fair share.